Can you believe I thought that this was a failure last year? Check out this kale bed. This makes me happy. It's Rachel. I like to share my experiments with you all, whether they are successes or failures. And last year, I showed you one that I thought was a disappointment, namely an experiment growing clover as a living mulch in the kale bed beneath me. I thought it was a failure. I had super patchy results. It really didn't seem like it was taking at all. And turns out mistake was me. I was impatient and I just needed to give it more time. And now this year, the clover has established itself really, really well, and this kale bed is absolutely jamming. I want to quickly walk through the 3 reasons I did this to begin with, the 3 ways it has turned out super well, and the 3 things that I would do differently. The reason I did this at all, first reason is to prevent solarization of the soil. When you have the sun beating down on unprotected soil, that UV radiation and heat will kill the microorganisms in the soil that you really want to have in order to have a healthy soil ecosystem for your plants. Second reason is water conservation. Having mulch over the soil helps to retain water inside the soil and prevent excessive moisture loss due to evaporation. Third is weed prevention. When you have a mulch over the soil, it prevents weeds from coming in and colonizing that bare earth. I had all of those benefits and then some. I wanted to talk through the 3 ways in which specifically clover as a living mulch is, I think, superior to simply mulching with something like grass clippings. First, clover can fix atmospheric nitrogen. That means it can take nitrogen out of the air and transform it into a form that is available to plants. It does this via a symbiotic partnership with rhizobium bacteria that live in nodules in its roots. I am definitely getting the benefit of the nitrogen fixing bacteria. This bed is insane. You can see I have it covered here and it's busting out everywhere. The kale is almost like the Incredible Hulk about to come out of here. I'm at the point where when I harvest, I'm not even focused on the harvest. I'm just trying to manage the kale situation and keep everything from busting out of the confines of this cover. Second, clover doesn't just guard the soil from solarization. Because of the way the stems flop over, it creates a shady microclimate where you have nice cool air as a layer between the soil and the clover itself. So it's not just shade, it's also creating almost an insulating layer of cooler air and really helps to retain moisture in the soil and to keep the soil at a better temperature for a longer period of time. And the third awesome benefit of this is that it is not consumed over time. It doesn't break down and disappear. If you use something like grass clippings, it will break down over time and become part of your soil, which is nice for the soil, but the mulch itself disappears. You can see what I'm talking about with the mulch being consumed here in the summer bed. I put down regular grass clippings here earlier in the season, and you can see over time they've broken down and really disappeared. It's resulted in some patchy areas where I now have weeds that I have to manually pull by hand. I'm not having to do this in the bed with the clover. The 3 things I would do differently. First, I would just be more patient. If I do this again in the future, I will expect it to take a couple of years for the clover to take hold in the bed and thrive, and I will expect that, and I will not do what I did this year, which was I started to turn it under. I gave up. I thought it was a bad, failed experiment. I turned it under, and I would have had an even better result if I had just left it alone and let it establish. Second, I need better rabbit protection. I forgot how much rabbits love clover. It's like rabbit crack, and we have a wild rabbit population here that comes in and out of my garden, and they in particular have gone after this bed, and they aren't eating the kale, which is good, but they are running in and out from underneath this cover, and that disrupts the cover and it lets cabbage moths underneath. Going forward, I need to figure out a better way to keep rabbits out of here. And third, this one's a maybe. I might try this with a shorter variety of clover. I have some footage here. You can see the clover does do a good job of preventing weeds. It really outcompetes everything else in the bed. But when a weed does make its way in there, it takes a long time for me to spot it. It has to grow big enough to pop up above the clover, and by then it's pretty well established, more than I would like. Going forward, I may try and find a shorter variety of clover instead of this Dutch white that I used here, so that I can see those weeds sooner and take care of them sooner. I say maybe because I do like the way those stems kind of flop down and make that nice insulating layer, and I don't want to lose that benefit. But if there are any slightly shorter varieties of clover, I think I'll go with one of those. Hope that was helpful. If you have not tried this, I would say give it a shot. Just be more patient than me. And if anybody knows of a variety of clover that's shorter than Dutch white, but not like a micro clover, please let me know. Throw a comment below. I would like to know which varieties might work better for this than the ones I'm already trying. Until next time, hope it was helpful. Thanks.